Hey there, friends and neighbors of Frog Hollow Neighborhood House. Just going to talk about July 1st again. Yeah, I call it Colonization Day. Because that's what it's intended to celebrate, the colonization of these lands and the claiming of them as originally as a dominion under the British Commonwealth, and then July 1st is to celebrate the so-called repatriation of the lands from the British Crown, and I presume the independence of the colony from the Commonwealth, which for some may be great reason to celebrate, but for those of us who were here for thousands of years beforehand, that system and those decisions depended on essentially wiping out all the systems that were here for thousands of years before that. And those systems, to do that, were so effective. So much so that there's only one Indigenous language in Canada that is not critically endangered. All the rest are, and there's probably close to 100. And that's a lot of wisdom and knowledge and understanding about these lands accumulated over thousands of years, about how to live here as human beings in a good way, in balance with all things, not just the people, with the land, with the water, with the animals, with the plants, with the ancestors, with everything. And colonized systems set about to erase and replace all those systems with the systems that were developed across the Atlantic in another land and imposed here on different lands far away with very different conditions. And that really doesn't make a lot of sense. So I say that if you really want to learn how to live as a good, responsible human being on lands, you should ask the people who've lived there the longest. They're the ones who would know, because they're the ones who learned originally from the land itself. And the lands are different everywhere. The lands provide us with different food, with different animals, with different conditions, different climate, different everything, which is why the land gave us different languages and cultures and cuisines and seasons and customs and rituals and practices, because it came from the land originally. So for those of you who remember, and maybe it takes a little time to remember, where your ancestors lived in one place for more than 1,000 years, and all the things that those original lands taught your ancestors about how to live there in a good way, as good, responsible human beings. Then you might get an understanding of what it means to belong to land, to feel connected to land, to be part of land, and to understand the deeper meaning of the term all my relations, which to me means I am related, I am connected to, I am part of everything. Not just my family, not just my community members, but to the land, to the cycle of water, to the cycle of atmosphere, I am part of. I am not separate from this world, from this planet, from this community, from these lands, which also provides the comfort in knowing that I'm never alone. And that's a terrible place to be, to feel and believe that you are alone. And for us, that is a terrible punishment to impose on someone. Because to us, it's not normal, it's not natural, it's not okay, it's actually not even possible to actually be alone. Because we are part of all of it. And that is a fundamental difference between a colonized and an uncolonized worldview. And so I talk about this quite a lot, and hopefully it makes some sense to you. And also it hopes you point out, to help you notice how ubiquitous and pervasive colonized systems are in all our lives. And that to remind everybody that there are other ways. We all had other ways before our ancestors were colonized. So I remind you, and hopefully these few words help make some sense and give you pause to think and question some of the things that we've been taught are normal, or the way things must be or have always been. So I always encourage people to ask two-word questions. Since when? Says who? So thanks for listening, and hopefully this plants the seed of a thought or a question or an idea. Thanks.